What's going on, everybody? Oh man! All right. What's going on, everybody? Um, I'm gonna get into it. Think once again, want to try to let a couple people chime in, but I think I want to kind of go ahead and get started. Um, so once again, man, it's another beautiful day, Transportation Tuesday. Um, Hoping that we'll be able to touch on the subject that somebody's looking forward to. Um, but I definitely want to say I want to give honest to God, regardless, He's the head of my life, and without Him, none of this be possible. And then I also want to, just continue to just say, I appreciate the feedback and the love that I'm getting from everybody when it comes to Transportation Tuesday. It's been a blessing. It really, the feedback I get has been getting is so positive. I couldn't ask for a better platform, at least to try to, figure out even if it's worth um, sharing your stories or listening to, hopefully somebody's listening and they might need my help and everything and on in that aspect. So anyway, today, I know last week kind of capping off what we talked about last week. I know last week I showed a little bit of my emotional passion about the way I am about transportation. And the passion really is more about the fact is that I'm really trying to just make sure to let individuals know that it's money to be made in the industry as long as you do it the right way, and get off to a great start. I had a good friend of mine the other day talk to me about it. He was like, "Well, T, you know, um, I've had people, say, man, it's getting into the transportation business, man, it's tough." Well, it is. It is. It's tough. But then with the right guidance, you can definitely be successful at it. And so anyway, so last week when I was kind of touching a little bit about the conversation I was having with everyone on this page, you know, it was really about just the fact is that I always try to just give that perspective of trying to just make sure you're successful at it, and that's what I'm here for. Other than that, you know. But anyway, with that said, today just talking a little bit about the difference of what an asset carrier is. Um, you know, some people think that you know, um, being an asset, being what just being a carrier, you use the load board, um, um, using the load board and everything. Is it's the way to go. It is. But you have to have a ultimate goal, and that ultimate goal has to be, you know, trying to get contracts and trying to work directly with shippers and things to build a relationship. So that way, what happens is you can kind of plan your week out a little bit better versus a lot of times when you're losing, using the load board. The load board is a great way to make money because at the end of the day, is when you use the load board, you just have to use it in a manner to try to build a relationship with brokers. And so that's what I meant by when I said that, um, as an asset carrier, I don't have to do that. I work directly with a shipper. But the thing about it with me as an asset carrier, I do have partners with me that we're able to provide a service for a shipper. And the thing about providing a service for a shipper, um, there's a lot of different things you have to do for them, and you have to be pretty much dedicated to them. There's some good and bad with that. The good is that the good is that you can plan your week out for whatever your business, business associates or whatever partners, and being able to provide the service for them. The bad thing about it is that a lot of your resources are applied to that particular shipper. Um, but the thing about it is that but you have to build a relationship with that shipper to become an asset carrier. A lot of times, being an asset carrier is pretty much what a shipper rather have. That means they can talk directly to that carrier to make sure the freight is moved at the time they need it moved. The difference is that with shippers that they feel, when they feel like they deal with an asset carrier, is that their rates might be a little higher than if they put it out there on the market with a broker to be able to negotiate it and bring the price down. So that's somewhat of the plus and minuses. But the thing about it is that most shippers will take an asset carrier over the broker because they feel like, okay, if I can get it moved off there, if I can move it off my dock, I can count the revenue. And so a lot of times that's where those different things come into perspective of what an asset carrier is. Now, the difference with me as an asset carrier is that, I try to provide a few other things for my shipper. I do the freight hauling for them as one. Also, two, I do storage for them, warehousing. And number three, I do management for them. Yard managing them. Yard managing their particular things that goes on there for distribution. So that makes me more of a 3PL. But that's what, like I said, it took time to even get to that point of being in that position. But I do want to say this, while I'm in the middle, for everybody to try to get in touch with me, you can reach me at Crawford Logistics and Associates on my IG and Crawford Logistics and Associate on my Facebook page, and also too, CLA Crawford Logistics and Associate, my website. The reason why I'm giving you that information is because a lot of times people ask me, say, Tori, how do I get in touch with you? I just want to put that up front, make sure that that you have that information. I've worked closely with a lot of individuals calling me about things as far as like, well, being an asset carrier, what steps did you take? Well, the steps that I took to become an asset carrier, I end up, spending some time trying to find out what this shipper needed. And I built a relationship from there. Now, this relationship took time. And I think that's where a lot of times I see a lot of guys that get into the industry, they don't want to build a time. It takes time for everything. It takes time for you to be able to just build a relationship with anybody. And so it's the same way in business. So that's, it took me at least 10 years to really build to the relationship where I am, to the point where they're very comfortable with me, where I'm having conversations with them on how to move their day-to-day operation. But that's what I say. It's on here, on this platform, I'm telling you it's possible. That's what I am showing you. It's possible, but you have to put in the work. And that's where I think a lot of people tend to want to just, whether it's a box truck, sprinter, tractor, it doesn't matter. It's you got to put in the work. And if you're going to put in, if you want to be a broker, had somebody talk to me this week about being a broker. They said that, they've been a broker and, things hasn't been going the way they wanted it. And I explained to them, I said, you got to do cold calling. You got to do the cold calling in order to become that broker. Because guess what? As an asset carrier, there is some things about me that I cannot, well, I cannot accomplish for them. I have to, explain to them, say, okay, I tell you what, for that particular rate, I can't do this particular, job for. But it doesn't mean the job doesn't get done. That's where that broker comes in at. That's when you are building a relationship with someone like myself. If you're a broker, you build a relationship with me, because what's going to happen is, I'm not saying they're not going to have brokers that they use. They're going to look to me and say, okay, Tori, do you have anybody that can help us move this load? 9 times out of 10, if I give it to a broker, that broker will find a good rate. And the reason why is because that broker will be able to say, okay, let me find some trucks that's doing a backhaul back to wherever they're going to. And from Atlanta to a different, back to, let's say, Florida. If there's a driver that just came from Florida to Atlanta and able to say, okay, I just need a backhaul to make some of my money back, that's where that broker comes in at. So that's why I'm saying to you, if you're going to be a broker, you have to build relationships with someone like myself, or someone like carriers that are consistent with moving freight. Because when you do that, what's going to happen is I can almost assure you, they have a direct contact with that recipient or that receiver. See, some people don't understand how you get in there to deal with those customers as a broker. And that's what last week I was saying, this called building relationships, it takes time. And so that's what I mean when I say, I'm a little biased, because guess what? I'm a little bit above that level, but I will always be able to tell you there's ways around it. And because, like I said, I heard someone tell me I've spent money in the broken side and I'm not making my money back. And the thing about the bond you have to buy, the surety bond, it's $75,000. You have to be able to work with a company to allow them to, to bond you to be able to even do business as a broker. And so just a little, just building that relationship with someone like myself as a broker will allow you to be able to say, okay, hey, I'm going to give you somebody's name to call and be able to build a relationship with them. And then that way you got the inside scoop. Because like I said, I know that's the one thing about me that has made me successful. And I only, like I said, first of all, giving that to God. And the second thing is the fact is that I'm not worried about what God got for you and what God got for me. I'm good. So if I tell you some information, I'm not going to sit up here and worry about whatever. Just use the information, just be successful with it. That's it. Because I'm not going to be that person that's going to hold back, because sometimes in this industry, people will not help you. And me being on this platform, that's what I am for. That's why last week when you saw me a little bit passionate about it, it was really about trying to use this platform to help individuals, or like I said, some of my family and friends, like my cousin Jan, she'll tell you, I know some friends, they got trucks and everything, but guess what? She might say, you know what, listen to my cousin, he might know some stuff that you might not know. And that's my family. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what this platform is really about for me. And just to say, hey, I was successful at this way to get a big shipper. Hey, as you've been trying to become a new person into the brokerage and everything, hey, check my lives out, see if it's something that, you might hear me talk about, and reach out to me. Because if that way, what happens is I say, okay, well, tell you what, if I want to make sure before I turn you over to my customer that you have all your ducks in a row. And if all your ducks are in a row, we can do business. Because at the end of the day, that's all it's about for me. I could care less about all the other stuff. Because me being blessed so much, I'm not even trying to take anything from you, because there's a rule that has always been that, something that we have to, well, let's put it like this, a creed that you have to live by. Much is given, much is required. Key word, much is given, much is required. So if God has given me, it's required for me to do this part. And I'm going to continue to do it no matter what, because that's what it's about. So like I said, if you're a broker, somebody somebody that's a broker trying to get in the industry, or somebody that's a carrier that's trying to get in the industry, let them know. Say, hey, you know what? He does a live. He has his Crawford Logistics Associate. You can get him on his DM. You can listen to it, because we're also doing something else. We're putting our information too also on our YouTube side. So a lot of my information is being able to, so you can go back and see it, or you can go to the website crawfordlogisticsassociate.com and see it. So that way you can tell the family and friends that, look, just at least give him listen to what he's saying and see if it's something in there that, hey, reach out to him. And if you reach out to him, then there's a way that, oh, thanks, cuz. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, cuz. It's because the fact is that this is what I'm supposed to do. Me and you always talked about that. It ain't gonna, this is how God bless you. You got to give. It's a book that I've been reading. Well, it's been a while. I read this book a while ago. It's called The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. And next week I'll probably bring it out, kind of post the book and let you see, because that's the one thing too. Some of the books that I read, I will start posting them so you will know some of the books that I read. But it's called 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. And the first law of success for that book is giving. Think about it for a moment. That's the first law, which if most of us that are spiritual and everything, your tithing is what you do. That's that spiritual law. You give. Because if you give, then guess what? You're going to receive so much. And the sad thing about it, you'll take the umbrella and turn it upside down, because all the blessings coming, you ain't going to be able to catch all of them. And see, that's me. That's why I'm so excited to be on here talking to everybody, because for me, it really doesn't, it's just about that. I'm going to talk about it in a manner like this. If somebody would have told me last year that I would be blessed to purchase my own warehouse in COVID and all those wonderful things, I'd have looked at you like you crazy. I'd have been like, nah, there's no way I'm not even going to do it. But that's not what I did. Because what I did, I said, well, God, you tell me what I got to do. And guess what? Blessings. So that's why I have to say much is required. I mean, much is given, much is required. And so I'm going to be on this platform on Tuesdays. And like I said, all the thing I ask for everybody is to just reach out to me. Go to the YouTube page at Crawford Logistics and Associates for the replays, and just reach out to me and ask me. Because what happens is, I'm only here to try to get you to think about before you make that next decision. Because something might not have been working for you, and something might have been working for you, and you might say, okay, I just need somebody to talk to. Because sometimes on this having this platform, it's just really about having somebody to share information with. It's okay, hey, this and there. Don't look at me talking about, the fact is, okay, I do my consultant side as if, okay, now I got to spend this money with Tori. No, look at it as, okay, I'm investing in me. If I'm going to bet the house, I'm going to bet the house on me. But when you bet the house on you, you still got to understand there's some things that you still might not know in order for that blessing to be able to be, to transpire. I'll give you a perfect example. I remember when Master P said that he used to see Tupac and, all these artists, and he saw this gentleman named Jay Prince. And he asked Jay Prince, he said, man, I want to be like you. Now you talking about Master P that's playing ball in the NBA and all of this, but he said he was at a store, as far as a record store, and he saw all these different things, all these artists, coming in, Tupac and all those people, and he knew that, he's like, well, I want to be able to put my own music out. So at the time, and you can look this up, I'm speaking, paraphrasing, but anyway, he talked about the fact is that at the time, Michael Jackson was only getting, like, I think he said 22% of his money, royalties or whatever. And Master P said, well, I need to speak to Michael Jackson's, lawyer. So when he said he spoke to the lawyer said, okay, if you decide you want to speak to me, it's going to cost you $25,000. And Master P like, man, I just want to get a little information. $25,000? Are you serious? And so when he said that, it was like, he was like, man, seriously? So Master P said, man, that was the best $25,000 he ever spent. That dude had the best, at the time, the best distribution deal of anybody. His deal was like 80-20. And then behind that, and even Baby said it. He said, I learned from Master P. He ended up with an 85-15 distribution deal. But guess what they did? He invested in himself and bet the house, and he went and got some knowledge. So when I talk about getting knowledge, that's what I mean when I say that type of stuff. Like I said, even with my cousin Jan, that's like we talking with her talking about the best way to buy cars. That's my family. We talk about that because sometimes you go buy a car and you're not getting a good deal. And I sit here and watch her when she do it. But guess what? All she's trying to do is tell you the best way to buy a luxury vehicle or whatever you're trying to buy. But everybody's like, well, I'm just going to go ahead and deals with selling. Okay. But guess what? When you don't get the deal you're supposed to get, that's on you. That's on you. Got a good friend of mine. She got a broker business. She's a broker. And all she's trying to do is, help you get the best house or at the same time teach you how to buy become an agent. And that's Stephanie. She's, but guess what? At the price at the way she's doing it, she's not doing it in a way to say, okay, I just want the money from you. It's really about trying to help you be able to gain wealth. And that's what, gain wealth and knowledge is key to everything. So when you see me on here talking about transportation, it's literally about just trying to make sure that if your kid or your spouse or whoever is not doing, they're like, hey, I'm at a dead end job. I don't know what I want to do. Okay. Well, let me think about driving a truck. Why not? Oh, because we made the transportation industry look dirty? These dudes making 6 figures out here, man. Come on now. Think about it for a moment. These guys out here making 6 figures. They owning their own truck. Now, the sad thing about it, what I will say to this, I see a lot of guys that out their own trucks, their credit's still bad. So that's something I'm going to talk about. At least I'm going to put that'll be our next subject next week. I'm going to talk about credit. I'm telling you, because at the end of the day, if your credit's not right, I promise you, I don't care if you're a broker or a carrier, you won't last long. Trying to get a commercial loan is not the easiest thing. So if your credit is not where it needs to be, hey, I'm going to talk to you about it next week because, like I said, in a few minutes ago when I told you, somebody told me last year that I would have my own warehouse, I'll look at you like you're crazy. But you better believe I had to have my credit together. Had to have my credit together and then some. So that's the difference in me. When I tell you being a 3PL, but I also own something, not just some trucks. That's a big difference. So that's why I said, when I get on here, I'm going to talk about things that make you successful. Just give you things to, because like I said, you can, and as the market continue to change, things are going to continue to happen to make it that much more harder in both industries. Because on the broker side, it gets to be to the point where there's so many load boards out here that it's as a broker, you trying to get into that. It's hard. There's so many load boards. So you have to change the game up a little bit and say, okay, well, what do I do? That's when you have to say, okay, let me rethink this. Because like I said, that's what I'm here for, to help you just rethink it, because I'm going to show you how to be successful. If you make, regardless, it's just that some people able to, it works like that. And then some people be like, man, it's just not working. Just don't give up. Because first of all, if you're giving up, that means you're not praying about it. You're not putting God first. And I'm just, just saying that because I'm telling you, as a business owner, there's days I can sit up here and make it seem like it's this and the third and easy. Trust me, I've had to pray. I've had to go in that closet and be like, God, I'm ready to give up on this. And guess what? Leave it in that closet, come back out, put my Superman cape back on. 17 years later, I'm still here. And so that's why I tell you that, getting on this platform, it's going to be so much more about information and literally having a conversation with you, and that's why, I labeled the company Let's Talk. That's why I labeled it Let's Talk, because that's what this is about. Let's talk. And I'm going to try to open up other streams so, you can talk directly to me. I know a lot of times the words come up on the screen, but I want to be able to have that conversation, whether the first 30 minutes is on me, because the first 30 minutes is on me. So if you pick up the phone and call me and say, T, I want to go, that's on me, because I want to hear what you got to say, because at the end of the day, I want to make sure that, first of all, I just want to listen. And second of all, be able to just make sure you're going in somewhat of the right direction. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to sit here and sell you on anything. I'm just sitting here and just listen. For the first 30 minutes, okay, hey, this is what you got. This is where you're going wrong at. Because I promise you, in the first 30 minutes, I could probably tell you where you're going wrong at. Now, if you decide to say, okay, well, I need to get out of this situation, then we can go from there. But I can bet you, I've been in this game long enough. I've been in this game almost over 25 years. And I've seen some of the things that will shock you. I remember when I started this business 17 years ago, it was like 6 of us. Make sure I got my hands together. 6 of us that left a particular company. 6. We left this company in 2004, and one of my partners probably is on this live, and he'll tell you he's not lying. 6 of us left that company, 2004, and it's only one person still standing. You looking at him. I'm just being honest with you, and they'll tell you, Tori, I was like Kobe Bryant to this business. I ate, I slept, I dreamt, I prayed, I did everything you can think of. I got the pictures to show. I go back and look at some of my pictures in my timeline, sleeping in my truck. Where my partners was, partying. Hey man, where you at? Man, I'm out here saving this money. 10 trucks later, and guess what? All 10 paid for. And you talking about bet the house on that? That's why that building is another step in this situation. So I'm not bragging. I'm just giving God all the praises, because I guess what? I gave something. I gave first. And most of y'all know what I'm talking about. I sacrificed for my family first. You see what I'm saying? I sacrificed for the legacy of what I asked my grandfather, can I use that last name? That's what I mean when I say I gave. And I appreciate it, because you're right. Focus. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why I'm telling you that when you talk to Tori, it's no game to me. This is serious. Because at the end of the day, when you're betting on yourself, that hard-earned money, your credit, and all that stuff right there, you do not want to lose. You don't want to lose, especially I've seen people lose their marriages over this stuff because they betted the house on it and they didn't have an idea of what direction. That's why I'm talking about that business plan. That's what I'm talking about, having that good credit before you even start. Getting a vision board together before you even start any of this. So that's why I'm the way I am when I talk to you about taking this game serious. But at the same time, your children can get in this game and make, or your spouse or whatever have you, and can do so good with it if they're focused and they have the right, person with the guidance. So that's what so anyway, family, once again, I know the 30 minutes is really never long enough. But that's why we move everything over to the replay. But I'm also going to try to get it to the point where I could just continue to try to have it where, you can call in and we can actually talk live with it. I'm working on that, just just trying to get it up to the point where we can use other devices into technology. That's why this platform, I'm continuing to try to get better and better and better at it. But I just want to make sure that this will be successful for any and everybody that's trying to make it. Because like I said, there's a lot of people out here that say, what do I do next? And if you can make 100,000, and just make some money and do what you got to do in this business, that's what it's about. But the key to me, and I want you to understand this when I say this, when you deal with Tory, I want to make sure not only do you start it, you run it, and you grow it. Because guess what? There's no need of you starting something and running something in the ground. Did you just say what I just said? There's no need of starting something and running it in the ground. Because guess what? That means it's over. See, with me, I'm trying to make sure you start it, run it, and grow it. Because when you grow it, that means that it's going to continue to be the way it's supposed to be. Growing in the right direction. Because I have never seen anything grow downward. I've seen everything grow upward. And so that's what I mean with me. Because I don't want to see you start a business and then, it go out of business. I want to see you start a business and then stay in business and continue to do the things you try to do. Like I said, with family, with that, like I said, you can, reach me at Crawford Logistics and Associates, and we do the replays on YouTube, and we also do, Crawford Logistics and Associate.com, and also you can, IGM Crawford Logistics and Associate, and also it's on the screen. Just like I said, just reach out to me and show me some love and everything, and I'll show you back some love and try to just make sure you're successful with it. And like I said, to my family, I sure appreciate the peace and the love and everything. But like I said, if you 6 feet above the ground, man, you're blessed. And God's giving you another chance at it. So like I said, just for now, man, I want to just tell everybody, man, I sure appreciate the love. And we'll see you next Tuesday on Transportation Tuesday, man. And like I said, we're going to talk about credit. I want everybody to understand we're going to talk about credit because it's important. That credit thing, you cannot do it without credit. And especially in the differences between regular loans versus commercial loans. We'll talk about the credit, the two and the difference, because they are different. All right, man. Peace, man. Love y'all, man. Peace.